2005 Ford Escape with the 3-liter V6. Today we're going to be replacing the driver's front CV axle. Let's get to it. And the first step is obviously going to be to remove the wheel held on with 5 19mm lug nuts. These are a little bit swollen. I'm just kind of shaking it off before I pull it the rest of the way off. Next, we can go ahead and remove the 32mm axle nut. Whew, that bevel was on there. I didn't think I was going to get that off for a second. Nice. That's exactly what you want. You want to have this play in your CV axle right here. Alright, if you don't have that, you're going to need to break this loose. I would recommend getting a punch, and they give you this little hole right here to put the punch into, and tapping it with a decent sized hammer to break it loose from the hub. These can get seized, and if they're seized really bad, you're going to have to remove your entire steering knuckle and have it pressed out. Sometimes you might as well just replace the steering knuckle at that point, because having it pressed out at a shop, you know, will basically cover the same cost as the replacing the entire steering knuckle, which you can get on like eBay and Amazon for not too bad. They've caught on to the fact that people don't like replacing press-on wheel bearings and such, which I don't know if this is a press-on or not. Yes, this looks to be a press-on wheel bearing, so if you want to replace that too, you can get the wheel bearing pre-pressed into a brand new steering knuckle, which is this entire assembly with the brakes off of it. I don't know how much they run, but you can find those on eBay, Amazon for not too bad. And our next step is going to be to remove this bolt on the lower control arm or the lower ball joint, whatever you want to call it, because it's technically one piece. These are pressed in and out, or the ball joint is pressed in and out. This head of the bolt is a 13mm, and the nut on the back of it is a 15mm. So you can go ahead and get yourself a 15mm wrench to hold that nut. And we can grab our impact with a 13 on it. Where's my impact? There it is. Make sure you drop your wrench. Very important. And once you get the nut off, you can kind of just get your wrench and apply pressure to this side. It doesn't need to be a wrench, it can be whatever tool you got. And you're basically gonna unthread this as you're pulling it out. And then once you're on this side, you can grab the open end of your box wrench and use that to pry it out, like that. And now we're gonna get ourselves a good sized hammer, and we're gonna hammer down on this lower control arm to break this loose. This is actually already loose. I just can't give it enough force to pull down. Ah, there it goes. Just gotta fight a little bit. Not too bad. CV axle. And before we remove the CV axle from the inside of the transmission, you're gonna need to do two things. One, get yourself a catch can ready, because when you open up that transmission, you're probably gonna lose a little bit of transmission fluid. And the second thing you're gonna need to do is go ahead and get your CV axle out. So that way it's pre-staged, so you can just pull this one out and throw that one in. Because you're probably gonna have a little bit of transmission fluid leaking out. And, well, I've got the box. Here's your part number, November Charlie Victor 11576. To pull this from the transmission is right where they meet, right in here. I'm gonna get my pry bar, reach up in here, and you just gotta kinda give it a quick push. See if you can't jar it out of its place. There we go. You can see the CV axle is done, just came right apart. You can't get the rest of it out. There it goes. So you can see now, we've got a nice big opening there. I can just reach up here, pull that CV axle out, and I'm just gonna swap them as quickly as possible to minimize the transmission fluid I lose. Or it's gonna fight me to the death, one or the other. Would you let go? Once you get that kind of pre-staged in there, you can come out here with the CV axle nut still on. You want to protect these threads. We're gonna grab our hammer. Oh, hopefully I don't knock my tripod over. Give it some gentle taps until we hear that thing bottom out. You can come in here now. You can see that CV axle is installed all the way, and we are good to go. Yeah. A little bit of a struggle to get it back in there. You might want to have two people to help you out with this. You know, one person can push down, or if you're doing this on the floor, it actually might be easier if somebody puts their foot right here and presses down, and then you can line this back up with your steering knuckle and drop it in there. Let's go ahead and put this nut and bolt back in. that CV axle down. You want to put this down until the nut stops spinning. If you want torque specs for any of this, you're gonna have to look it up yourself. I don't want the responsibility that comes if those torque specs are wrong or anything like that. But other than that, that's pretty much all there is to it. Everything's good. Put your wheel back on, start it up, take it for a short drive, and then when you get back, make sure you check for leaks and stuff like that for your transmission. But other than that, you should be good to go. If you'd like to see more videos on this vehicle, go ahead and check out that one next. I made that one just for you. But other than that, if this video helped you out, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.